Hold on to your smartphones, folks, because the FBI has a bone to pick with our texting habits. They're waving a big red flag about the security risks of texting between iPhones and Androids. This isn't some tinfoil hat conspiracy theory either. This is the FBI, the guys who investigate things like organized crime and cyber terrorism. When they talk, it's generally a good idea to listen. The issue, they say, stems from the lack of default encryption in messages sent between these two smartphone giants. What does that mean in plain English? It means that your private conversations might not be so private after all. This warning comes on the heels of a massive cyber attack known as the Salt Typhoon hack, which targeted major US telecommunications companies. It's a stark reminder that in our increasingly digital world, cybersecurity is not something to be taken lightly. So the next time you're about to fire off a juicy gossip text to your friend with a different kind of phone, maybe think twice. Your digital security, and maybe even national security, could depend on it. Let's talk about this Salt Typhoon hack for a second, because it's not your everyday data breach. This is some serious international espionage stuff. The FBI believes that the masterminds behind this attack are state-sponsored actors from China. And their target? Some of the biggest names in the American telecommunications industry: AT&T, Verizon, Lumen Technologies, the whole phone company A-Team. The goal of this sophisticated operation was to intercept call records, live calls, and even the systems used to handle court orders. It's like something straight out of a Jason Bourne movie, except it's happening in real life, and the stakes are incredibly high. The scary part is that this hack wasn't just a quick in-and-out job. It went undetected for months, possibly even longer. This means that for an unnervingly long period, sensitive information was vulnerable to prying eyes. The Salt Typhoon hack should serve as a wake-up call. This is not just a problem for tech companies or government agencies, it's a threat to anyone who uses a phone. So, why is texting between iPhones and Androids such a security nightmare? The answer lies in the way these messages are encrypted, or rather, the way they're not. You see, when you send a text message, it doesn't just magically teleport from your phone to your friends. It travels through a complex network of servers and towers like a digital game of hopscotch. Now, Apple and Google, the masterminds behind iPhone and Android respectively, both use encryption to protect messages sent within their own ecosystems. That means your iMessages, iPhone to iPhone, and your Android to Android texts are pretty secure. But here's the catch. When an iPhone talks to an Android, they ditch the fancy encryption protocols and resort to something called RCS, which stands for Rich Communication Services. And guess what? RCS doesn't offer the same level of end-to-end encryption. It's like leaving your house key under the welcome mat. Convenient maybe, but not exactly Fort Knox level security. You might be thinking, so what if someone can read my texts? I'm not exactly the Queen of England, and you're probably right, you're not royalty, unless you are, in which case, hello. But here's the thing, even seemingly mundane information can be valuable to the wrong people. Think about all the things you discuss via text, your whereabouts, your financial information, your personal opinions. Now imagine that information falling into the hands of identity thieves, scammers, or even foreign governments. Not so harmless now, is it? And in the case of the Salt Typhoon hack, the potential consequences are even more alarming. We're talking about the possibility of sensitive government communications, business negotiations, and personal data being compromised. This isn't just about protecting our privacy, it's about safeguarding national security, economic stability, and the very fabric of our digital lives. Don't despair, dear reader. While the current state of cross-platform texting might seem bleak, there are ways to protect yourself. The first line of defense is to ditch the default messaging apps and embrace the world of end-to-end encrypted messaging services. Think of apps like WhatsApp, Signal, and Telegram as the Fort Knox of the messaging world. They use powerful encryption to scramble your messages, making them virtually unreadable to anyone but the intended recipient. Even if someone intercepted your messages, all they'd see is gibberish. Here are a few more tips to keep your digital life secure. Update your operating systems. Those pesky update notifications are actually your phone's way of saying, hey, I'm getting stronger, want to join me, don't ignore them. Asterisk, use strong passwords, and no, password 123 doesn't count. Think complex and unique for each account. Asterisk, enable multi-factor authentication. It's an extra layer of security that makes it much harder for hackers to access your accounts. Remember, in the digital age, knowledge is power. and taking steps to protect yourself is crucial. Be informed, be proactive, and